Hello, this is Matt Edzenga, the lead developer of BlastZone 2. I've been releasing a series of videos recently focusing on different areas of the game, such as the new weapon loadouts for ships from the recent weapons DLC that was released for free, but I've also been going over some of the other game modes as well that people might have overlooked. I've noticed that it seems like many people who play BlastZone 2 go right to mission mode, as they should, really, because that's the bread and butter of the game. But once they're done with mission mode, that's pretty much it. Whereas these other game modes are very unique and are a lot of fun to play and are very different from the original game mode. So I strongly suggest experimenting with these other game modes to see which ones you like. I've actually talked to a few people that really like the mission mode, but actually like some of these other game modes even more. So you don't want to miss out on an experience like that. Alright, so for this video rather, I'm going to be going over the Classic B game mode. So if you missed my previous video going over Classic A, this is very similar. It's pretty much enemies going across the screen, you have to prevent them from passing you. Except with Classic B, I added several new elements to the game, which I think are very unique, things that I haven't really seen in other games much, so I really wanted to put it here to add that extra uniqueness for people who want a different style of play. So, with Classic B, you start off with all the weapons in the game, but I will kind of show you all the rest of it in action. So you can see on the bottom of the screen, there's only a chain and score value there. So everything I do either draws from or contributes to that points pool. There's no lives, there's no ammo, so when enemies pass you, it actually uses up your points instead of your lives. Now the trick here is that every time you beat a wave, it actually asks you if you want to continue playing or not. I'll show it to you in a minute once it comes up. So see, I got to wave 2, and now it's asking me if I want to continue to play. If I think this is the best I can do and my score will never get higher from here on out, I can say no and record my high score, but since this is a very early portion of the game, and I have had a decent amount of practice playing, I will keep going. Now, the big difference with this game mode is that your score is not just constantly going up and you just have to keep doing better to have your score constantly rise. If you screw up and everything with your score going down, it essentially turns into you betting on what your skill level is and kind of gauging your skill level. Now, obviously there's two big extremes to this. If you're not very confident in yourself and you end earlier, you could potentially be missing out on future points gains that from levels that you skipped. Whereas if you get overconfident and you think you're much better than you actually are, you can continue into later levels and then your score will actually keep going down. So you'll miss out on that high score that you were going for. So you see, I just used up my wide beam there and it consumed some of my points and reset my chain, but it reduced the amount of points I could have lost if I let those enemies pass me. So it's really about a constant second-to-second split-second decisions of what would be the most beneficial in terms of points. See, that ship down there was about to pass me, but I had to take him out really quick. Yeah. Wow. Alright, and as you can see, the points chains get more and more difficult to build up later in the game because you have to keep resorting to your better weapons. So, getting a high score earlier on to ride off of makes a big difference. Give yourself a little bit more of a cushion. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, though, is that even though you can stop the game whenever you want, there is a game over state. There is a state in which you just lose completely, which is if you go below 0 points. So potentially, on the first level, if you just screw up right away, you can just lose immediately and the game's over. But if you keep going to the end, and you get really like there could even be times that you know the game is over and you know you lost your high score and you just keep going anyway, and eventually your score will just go all the way down to 0, and even though you got to like wave 15 or something, having a score of 0 isn't going to give you anything. So it's really about finding the right sweet spot of the game of where you're difficult, or where your skill level matches the difficulty of the game. Yeah. So these gameplay ideas aren't things that I've seen very often in other games, and if other games have deployed it, I would be really curious to see how what kind of job they did. Because I feel like the vast majority of these points-based games are just, the points just go up the whole time, and you just, and if you get better at it, you just keep getting a higher score and getting further in the game and all that kind of stuff. But this, I think, adds like a whole other element to it that you normally wouldn't really think about. So at this point in the game, I really have to be paying attention to my score. Earlier on, I wasn't paying attention much because I knew I was just better than that area of the game. So see, I'm up to 3,800 at this point. So I'm going to see what my score is at the end of the next wave and see if I'm going up or down. And usually this point in the game is when it starts getting really tough, so I'm going to see what's going on. So it was 3,800 before, I'm up to 44 now. So I think it's pretty good. Okay, so 44, that worked out pretty well. I'm going to keep going. See if I can keep this going up. And sometimes the case is that you're just kind of floating and you're not going up or down at all. And now you can also see that the enemies are moving at different rates, so that also really plays into what your split-second decisions are going to be on each level. Now I went up from 44 to 47, so this is really reaching my limits. I'm going to try going one more wave and see what happens. If a miracle happens and I go above 5,000, I'll keep going, but otherwise I think that'll be it. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, this is not working out too well for me. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, I'm just concentrating quite a bit here. Not sure if that was completely necessary, but alright. So I'm up to 48. This is actually the slightest bit higher than the last level, going about 46, 47. But it's at this point I'm really just hovering. I really can't count on reaching a higher score than what I had previously. So I think I'm going to end it here. So just press no, and I got rank 1, and that was my high score. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed Classic Mode B for BlastZone 2, and I hope you like some of these extra gameplay elements that I threw in here that are pretty unique for this game that I haven't really seen in other games. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be releasing more videos in the future focusing on other areas of the game, and thanks for watching.